The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello, this is Nigel Pullen, and thank you for attending the webinar that we have today on security and vulnerability management. I'm going to say just a few words, a little update first before I hand over to Ian to go through the presentation. So probably by the end of next week, we'll have our latest partner newsletter out to you, which will give you a lot more detail about how we as Spinnaker are doing and how the partner channel is developing. But I just thought I'd share with you on this webinar a couple of highlights so far. So we're coming towards the end of Q2, and we've already seen in new sales close to 60% year-on-year growth, which is just tremendous. Most of that growth has come from the support for Oracle products, predominantly the tech stack, the database, the middleware, but also some strong growth on e-business suite. And in particular, we're getting some good new deals on Hyperion as well. As far as the SAP practice is concerned, that growth typically comes in Q3 and Q4 when we get on new deals leading up to 2019. And we're already seeing a dramatic increase in the SAP pipeline as well. But the most exciting thing from my perspective is that a lot of this growth is being driven by the sales partners that we have out there all around the world. And in fact, more than a third of the sales that we've made so far in 2018 have been generated by partners, which is a fantastic progress compared to previous years. So as I mentioned, you'll be getting some more details around those growth numbers and how we're doing as a business in the newsletter that comes out in a week or so's time. But now really what I want to do is to hand over to Ian Sanderson, our CTO, who's going to talk to you for 15 to 20 minutes about our security and vulnerability management offering. The reason we're doing this is not so that you all become experts in security and vulnerabilities overnight, but more that if you're talking to prospects and at the top of their mind is how secure is my environment going to be against vulnerability threats, if I move to Spinnaker as a third-party solution, then you'll be able to, with confidence, tell them that Spinnaker have a very strong, robust security offering that whilst they're explaining to you the strength of their third-party support offering, they'll be able to tell you in a lot more detail about the security aspects of that as well. So I'm going to hand over to Ian Sanderson. Unfortunately, as this is a webinar, it's impossible for you to ask voice questions. However, there is a possibility to, via the chat or questions section of the webinar, if you type any questions you might have during the presentation that Ian's making, then we'll be able to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. So with that, I'm going to hand over directly to Ian, who will tell you about our security and vulnerability management capability. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Nigel. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the webinar. So what I'd like to do is just kind of set the context in terms of why security and vulnerability management is so important. You know, it's one of the top questions we get asked in discussions with prospects. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of information dispersed by Oracle around the subject. So just, you know, giving you as a partner the tools and the techniques that you would be able to use in the conversation to at least understand the landscape. You know, the expectation is not that you're going to have a detailed knowledge of security, but just that you are aware of the Spinnaker security offering. So in terms of what Oracle currently delivers with security, if a customer is under Oracle support, they effectively get Oracle patches 4 times a year. So it's a quarterly patch release cycle. There's not a lot of proactive process as part of that patch. It's fairly reactionary. You know, as vulnerabilities are discovered, they are patched and released every quarter. So, you know, a client gets a false sense of security where they're only relying on those, those quarterly patches. There's no additional monitoring provided by Oracle or any kind of tools and techniques, around the technology stack, other than just patching the actual executables. From my experience, most clients really don't apply most of those patches. It's good and comfort in knowing about it, but the mechanics and the exercise to go about applying patches on a regular basis and getting them in a timely fashion, generally doesn't occur. So a lot of the discussion we have with customers is around, how much do they actually utilize Oracle patching? That said, it's still patching by the vendor, which means a lot to customer bases. So the challenge that Spinnaker had in coming up with a solution and really countering Oracle's security commitment was to develop a solution that was more encompassing and a lot more proactive. Something that our customers could really, get something out of easier than an Oracle solution. So the biggest way we make that transition from just focusing on just applying a patch is to portray security as more a process. It's really a combination of the customer's security teams, the customer's process around, how they manage their firewalls, how they manage their technology stack, and then adding in technology, such as firewalls, application firewalls, to really augment, the landscape, to really provide a holistic, a very active means of combating vulnerabilities. So the first step in our discussion is to portray security as more as a process than just applying a patch. And as soon as we've had that discussion, the lights go off on the customer, and they realize that they need to think beyond just Oracle's quarterly update patches. In terms of Oracle patching, just to lay the landscape, in terms of what Oracle does right now, is they only know about known bad attacks. But because of the nature of the internet, there are many undisclosed or suspicious activities which could be construed as attacks, but really haven't been documented as formal attacks yet. So it's important in proposing a solution to really have a solution that takes care of suspicious activity monitoring. Things that we don't really know are attacks, but could be construed as attacks, maybe coming from bad IP addresses or just by the nature of the URL. It looks to not be normal behavior in the system. So, a large portion of those attacks are really that nature. So, what we do is we explain this to our customers and our prospects that they're really safeguarding them on the full stack of security. There's a large portion, the orange portion is really a big gap in Oracle security and vulnerability strategy that doesn't get addressed, and how we look to address that. So in terms of Spinnaker finding the right partner to partner with, we went to the market and looked at vendors out there that offered full stack security, something we could offer across a wide range of third-party support products, not just Oracle database, but products that would cover our WebLogic application tiers, that would cover the applications such as EBS, JD Edwards, SAP. So really complete stack monitoring, not just focusing on one particular component. And what we came up with is our partner called AlertLogic. AlertLogic is in the market. They're actively providing security services for customers right now. They have a large portfolio of products that can be dynamically configured. So what that means is that when we speak to a client during a sales cycle, we can effectively build a solution for the client that's going to work particularly for that client. It's not going to be a generic solution. It's really going to be a customized solution. So if a client is, for example, only running database, we could give them just a database specific solution. If the client's running an EBS component or a middleware component, we can add additional services to really tweak it, to provide a complete solution. So it's really a customized solution for every client. AlertLogic does this right now. It's a multitude of different products in their portfolio. I've got a few on the screen: vulnerability assessment and managed application firewalls, doing data inspection of logs for suspicious activities, doing detection analytics on URLs that are coming into the application. And then combined with that is just having a team that's actively monitoring those alerts and those controls to make sure that they're being enforced all the time. So, the human nature of that component is an important part. To have the experts that can really guide our clients and kind of advise them. So that's really the product landscape that we offer. It's a blended holistic solution that Spinnaker engineers work with Untitled Logic engineers as one team, and really present a combined solution. Just to speak, just a little bit around the diversity of the stack. So really, Spinnaker security powered by Untitled Logic can really address a multitude of product platforms, anywhere from the application package products such as EBS, SAP, down to middleware layers, WebLogic, ATG, Agile, Hyperion, all the way to the database layer, and not just Oracle. It can address MySQL, it can address DB2, and a SQL Server. So it's really a holistic tool that can be configured to really accommodate any type of vulnerability attack. Not just a binary type attack that we see from Oracle type patching. So in speaking to prospects, the key takeaway with this is it's really a multi-platform and multi-faceted approach. We don't limit ourselves to just guarding against database. We hear a lot from our competitors, Rimini Street in particular, around them having a similar product. It's in fact remarkably different. Their database product, their security product, is focused strictly on database. They don't have the ability to protect any kind of applications or any kind of middleware layers. Whereas with the Untitled Logic solution, that's a complete solution. All that comes bundled in. In terms of the commercial terms about how we're able to offer this, so the Spinnaker security solution is really included in the third-party support offering. It's not an additional add-on. It's not an additional cost for it. It's really included as part of our base price. So when we quote the price to the customer, the client can turn on the Spinnaker security solution powered by Untitled Logic at no additional cost. It's really part of the solution. So should be no concern about additional cost. It is going to be valid for the life of the third-party support contract. So if a client signs a 3-year contract versus a 1-year contract, we're going to provide coverage, for their security for the length of that contract. And in addition, we're going to include every contract that's on the support agreement. So it's not going to be just focused around a certain portion, maybe just production or just development test. It's really going to be the full stack. So if it's middleware, EBS, database for say 1,000 nodes, that's what will come bundled as part of the Spinnaker support solution. So it's really, there's not going to be any gaps in coverage. It's a complete autonomous solution. And there has been good uptake in the market. We've spoken to clients. We've briefed Gartner on this. They're excited about the solution. It's remarkably different to the other solutions that are offered in the market. Particularly when we compare ourselves to the Oracle and SAP solution or the Rimini Street solution. Both those solutions are very static in nature. The Rimini solution is only guarding against database and only in a very limited fashion. The SAP and Oracle solutions are strictly geared towards just fixing vulnerabilities in the code, and not really, presenting a unified environment, a unified protection around your environment. The Spinnaker solution is actively monitoring the client's technology stack. So that's the solution. We're really excited about it. If there are questions, if you have prospects, I think the key takeaway is that we do have a comprehensive solution. It's best in market. There should be no concerns that they're moving away from Oracle patching, and there's going to be a gap in their security. Just in terms of extra information, obviously, your partner portal is the best resource, but feel free to reach out to Nigel and myself. Contact information is below. They'll be happy to either demo the product, take questions of prospects, have more detailed discussions. It's certainly how we can make our security team available to have those discussions. Nigel?
That's great. Thanks, Ian. So as Ian mentioned, you can either ask questions now on the webinar, or this link will be posted on the partner portal for you to access. And the link will be a recording of this particular presentation, so you can look at it in your own time or pass it on to colleagues for them to have a look at as well and to listen to. And obviously, if you have any prospects who we're working with who need to have some more details on our security approach, Ian is always happy to get on the phone, or his head of security will also be available to present to your customers also. So let me see if there are any questions coming through on the chat, and I'll just give you 1 or 2 moments to type those in, and if not, then we'll be able to close this session and let you get back to your day's work. Karen, are you able to see any questions that are coming through?
Yeah, there are no questions at this time.
Okay, great. In that case, we'll probably leave it there. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you, Ian, for taking us through the high-level overview of our security and vulnerability capability. And I look forward to speaking to you all individually at some point in the near future. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.